James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable true school sports empire. And y'all know the rest, man. Now listen, I'm here in the MGM Grand Media Room, pumping out that content for Naoya Inoue versus Ramon Cardena. Stay tuned for all the content on the way. Check out the Espinoza interview that just dropped. But listen, I wanted to come do a little video about Ryan Garcia because I did touch on this last night during the live. Rolly Romero, congrats to him. He went out there and he won quite convincingly in a fashion that a lot of people thought he would never win in, which is to not just beat Ryan Garcia, but to outbox him, right? To outthink him, to outmaneuver him. So he deserves a lot of credit because he started boxing like what? Rolly started boxing at 17, 18 years old, and all these guys like Tank and Ryan and Shakur, these guys have been boxing since they were jits, like since they were kids, 6 years old, 7 years old, these kind of things, right? So, it is to be applauded, but while we have a very positive story with Rolly, I feel like we have an quite possibly even more negative story with Ryan Garcia. And I'm telling you guys right now, it brings me no great joy to say this. It brings me no great joy to put this out there. But it's if we're just looking on paper and we're looking at the body of work, objectively speaking, this is the truth, okay? Because the reality is, Ryan Garcia is 26 years old. He has 26 fights. He's boxed over 100 rounds in the pros. He's never won a world title, and he's lost, I would say, 2 of his 3 biggest fights. I think the Luke Campbell fight, you could classify it for being a big fight because Luke Campbell at that time was a name in the division. So he's lost pretty much almost all his big fights, but yet he remains recognized as one of the faces of American boxing. So what does that say about American boxing? That like Ryan Garcia is one of the faces of it. It shows what we value in boxing, which is it ain't got nothing to do with fighting, because if it had anything to do with fighting, if it was just merit of how good of a fighter he's proven to be in the ring, then he shouldn't even be anywhere near there. But he's marketed himself well. But honestly, guys, I'm coming out here to say this, just cut and dry. At this moment in time, like there's been a lot of, overrated fighters. There's been a lot of, quote unquote hype jobs. And I like Ryan Garcia. I still stand on this. I still think Ryan Garcia, out of all the fighters I've seen in the gym, he's one of the most naturally talented and gifted fighters I've ever seen. But natural talent, and athleticism, that's only one part of the equation. It's not the equation itself. So I say all that to say that Ryan Garcia is, in fact, one of the biggest hype jobs in the history of boxing. And I think there's a great argument that he might even be the biggest hype job in the history of American boxing, or just boxing, period. Because he's made, a lot of money, headline on pay-per-view. Apparently he made $20 million for that fight last night, $20 million plus. So Ryan Garcia has never won a world title. He's never won a world title. He's never challenged for a world title. He's missed weight. He's had a PED controversy. He's never really gotten better. Like, he's never had any string of real consistency other than the prospect stage of his career. I'm not sticking a fork in Ryan Garcia. I still think he's got talent. I still think he can make something of his career. But there's a body of work now, and he's not exactly a kid, guys. Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these fighters that we talk about, these guys were winning their big fights at 23, 24, 22. Ryan Garcia is 26, and he has not yet, come close to fulfilling his potential. The best night he had of his boxing career was the night that he fought Devin, and we know what came with that. Osterine and lawsuits and PED things. So I'm really intrigued to see how he's going to respond, because he's changed trainers a lot. I mean, a lot of people have compared him to Oscar De La Hoya, and that was a De La Hoya trait. But the thing is, Oscar was a 6th division champion. Oscar was a gold medalist in the Olympics. Oscar had already done a whole lot before he started changing a bunch of trainers. So the only thing that Ryan and Oscar have in common is the fact that they're both Mexican-American. They both box, and they're both from LA or whatever, or California. So that being said, yeah, I'm going to go with that one. At this moment in time, I think Ryan Garcia is probably the biggest hype job in modern boxing history. And hopefully it doesn't stay that way, but right now that's what it is. So listen, congrats to Rolly. You know, he fought a real good game plan. Nobody thought that he would go out there and be so measured with his left hand and fight such a mentally disciplined fight, but he did all that. So he deserves a lot of credit, and I'll give him his credit. I'll give him his flowers. You know, he's probably, like to paraphrase what my boy Sean Tatel said, like, Rolly's probably one of the most talented fighters in boxing, because Rolly, like I said, he started boxing at 17, 18, 19 years old, however old it was, and look at the level he's got to. Look what he's achieved. Look at the money he's made. Not a lot of fighters could do that, and fair play to him. But yeah, stay tuned. I'll go with you. Stay tuned, guys, for all the content on True School Sports. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and we got a monster in town. For more great boxing content from America to Japan and everywhere else in between, make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned, and keep it locked.